Welcome back to another episode with your host Mitch, presented by Notorious Pulls Radio. And for this week's episode, we're going over UFC 292, Aljamain Sterling versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. And guys, before we get into it, if you are new to our show, please do us a favor and leave a like and subscribe us on YouTube and follow us on all social media platforms. Now let's get into it. UFC 292 is going down in Boston at the TD Arena. This is a huge bantamweight matchup. We have obviously the reigning champ, Aljamain Sterling, who has been on a 9-fight win streak, absolutely terrorizing the bantamweight division. And you have Dana White's most privileged person on the roster, and that is Sean O'Malley. Obviously, Sean O'Malley's ranked number 2 in the bantamweight division. He was able to swing a big win over former champ Peter Yan. He obviously had a no contest before that, and he actually lost to Chito Vera. The fact that he's actually fighting Sterling for the belt, it's really because Dana is able to sell this fight, and it's a kind of like a popularity for him at this point, because obviously Merab is not going to fight Aljamain, and technically if anyone was to fight Aljamain, they would have to at least get through Merab at some point. Obviously, how do I see this fight going? I see Aljamain Sterling absolutely mauling Sean O'Malley. And after the fight that Aljamain put up against Henry Cejudo, and you saw that he took down an Olympic wrestler. I mean, Aljamain was grounding him. I mean, he had no answer for him on the floor. And he showed that 5 rounds, he went with Triple C. I believe Sean O'Malley Cejudo would destroy O'Malley. Cejudo is still a top killer in the bantamweight division. And for O'Malley to think he's going to run in and have some kind of success against Aljo, I think that's going to be super rare. I think Aljo has very good defense. He is going to find his way inside, get O'Malley against the cage. O'Malley has never felt pressure like this in his life. He has never faced a wrestler and a jiu-jitsu practitioner of this caliber in the octagon. I believe O'Malley will not make it the distance. This fight will definitely stay under 3 rounds, and Aljamain is going to capitalize on this. The problem is Dana White is forcing this fight really soon. I mean, he just defended his belt in May, and he has to defend again in August. I mean, I know Dana White's been having problems with some of his UFC main events. Obviously, this one without Aljamain Sterling, it'd be impossible to be a pay-per-view, of course. I mean, no one would buy it. So Aljamain had to be on this card, and it had to be for a belt for him to make this a pay-per-view at the TD Arena. This pay-per-view without Aljamain Sterling would be nothing. Aljo made such a quick turnaround from his last title defense to fighting O'Malley. I think, like he said, he was pressured in by the company, but I do believe diamonds are made under pressure, and Aljamain is just going to capitalize and make bank on this fight. He is definitely doing well. He took this under, Dana White's wrath. Obviously, Aljo would have been much more comfortable. He could have defended his title at MSG in November. I promise you, that would have been a much more reasonable timing for him to get rest, recover, and then, make a nice, successful weight cut back to 135. But he's doing it in the TD, in the green land of Boston. So obviously, Sean O'Malley will have a huge fan base out there, and it's going to be excited to see one. Our co-main event, Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos, and this is another title fight on this pay-per-view with the Strawweights. Obviously, Zhang has been one of the most exciting female fighters in the strawweight division, carries a lot of power, loves to knock out her opponents, and is always, on top of her game. She's obviously had a beautiful win where she regained her title against Carla Esparza with a beautiful rear naked choke. She had that highlight reel finish over Joanna Jacek with that spinning back fist. I mean, that was absolutely beautiful, that finish. And her opponent, she's on a beautiful 2-fight win streak, and that's Amanda Lemos. She's the 4th-ranked strawweight. Lemos obviously had a great win against Marina Rodriguez, her last fight. And she had her last win with submission via guillotine. So the way I see this battle going, I mean, Zhang is she's one of the best female fighters in the world. And I think that she's going to have a huge title defense. And I think she's going to come out this night with a big knockout in the TD arena. She loves fighting, in different arenas. She always steps up to the plate when it comes to a pay-per-view night. I really love Zhang Wei. I'm a big fan of her, and I think she has what it takes to retain her title against Lemos. Really excited for this co-main. I mean, it's a really exciting fight. I think it's going to be a historical night. We have Weidman back at the TD Garden on a huge, huge card. I really, really like how this card played out. It's nice it's in Boston. A lot of us, New York guys are going to be able to, drive out and support. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful at the TD Arena come August 19th. Guys, remember, if you want to show us so much support, we have tons of merchandise at notoriouspulls.com. Please always leave a like, follow, and subscribe us on YouTube. And I want to say thank you. Your host, Mitch. We'll see you soon.